will never forget the first time I heard about the old school on the edge of town. Everyone said it was cursed. The building stood there, silent and abandoned, with broken windows like hollow eyes, staring into the dark. The wind always whistled through its empty hallways, almost as if the school itself was breathing. Some kids dared each other to sneak inside at night, but most of them never stayed long. They said strange things happened the moment you crossed the front gate. But here's the thing, when I was younger, I never believed in ghost stories. I thought people just made them up for fun, to scare others, or maybe to stop kids from going into dangerous old buildings. I used to laugh whenever my friends whispered about it, saying they heard footsteps inside when no one was there. That laughter didn't last long, because one night, I found myself inside that very school. Before I continue, if you're enjoying this story and want more terrifying tales like this one, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel Storyblocks Unlimited. It helps us keep bringing you the scariest real stories you'll ever hear. Now, let's get back to the nightmare. It was October, and Halloween was just around the corner. My friends and I had this tradition. Every year, we'd do something risky, something that pushed our fear to the edge. Some kids would just watch scary movies, but not us. We wanted the real deal. That year, someone suggested the old abandoned school. At first, I laughed. What's so scary about some broken desks and graffiti on the walls? I asked. But then, one of my friends leaned in, his face pale. You don't know the story, do you? He whispered. Apparently, decades ago, the school was shut down because of a terrible fire. No one knew how it started. Some said it was an accident in the science lab. Others swore a teacher lost his mind and locked the doors before setting the flames. What made the story even darker was that not everyone made it out. They said children were trapped inside burned, screaming, banging on the windows for help that never came. And since then, anyone who stepped inside claimed to hear the cries of those students still echoing in the halls. I tried to play it cool, but inside, a shiver crawled up my spine. Still, we agreed. That Halloween night, we'd enter the school. The night arrived. The sky was black. No moon, no stars, just clouds rolling in like smoke. We brought flashlights, though their weak beams hardly pierced the darkness. The gates were still standing, though rust had eaten them away. When we pushed them open, they screeched so loudly it felt like a warning. We stepped inside. The moment my foot crossed the boundary, the air grew heavy. The night outside had been chilly, but in there, it was freezing, as if the walls had trapped the cold for decades. My flashlight flickered for just a second, and I almost turned back. The hallways were endless, lined with cracked tiles and lockers that hung open like gaping mouths. The walls were covered in graffiti names, symbols, warnings. Then I was spray-painted in huge red letters across one wall. My friends laughed nervously, pretending not to be scared. But the deeper we went, the less we laughed. We reached what used to be the main classroom. The desks were still there, but most were broken or blackened by fire. In the corner, a chalkboard still stood. And here's where it got strange. On that chalkboard, written in perfect white chalk, were words we never left. Now, remember the school had been abandoned for years. No one had been inside. My friends swore it was just kids sneaking in before us, playing pranks. But when he walked up to wipe the words away, the chalk suddenly snapped in half, even though no one touched it. The sound echoed through the entire building. We froze, and then, faintly at first, we heard it, children laughing. It wasn't the playful laughter of kids outside on Halloween night. No, Dad, this was different. It was hollow, distant, echoing in ways sound shouldn't. We shined our flashlights around, but the room was empty. The laughter grew louder, circling us, until suddenly it stopped cut off, like someone hit a switch. That's when we heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, dragging heavy. We turned our lights toward the doorway. Nothing, just shadows stretching longer than they should. My friend whispered, we should go. And for the first time that night, no one argued. But the school wasn't going to let us out so easily. As we walked back down the hall, the lockers began to slam shut. One after another, bang, 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 echoing so loudly we had to cover our ears. The noise chased us closer and closer until we were running. My flashlight flickered again, and in that brief moment of darkness, I swear I saw something figures, small, child-sized, standing in the hallway, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. We ran until we reached the stairwell. That's when we made our mistake. Instead of heading back to the front doors, we went down into the basement. The basement was worse. The air was thick, damp, and smelled like burnt wood. Our lights barely reached the walls, but we could see the outlines of old tables and shelves. And then we saw a burn mark, deep black scars on the wall. This must have been where the fire started. on the far side of the room. There was something written in ash. Help us. My friend swore someone was messing with us, but his voice shook. We heard whispers now, all around us. Not just one voice, dozens. Some crying, some screaming, some calling for their parents. It was unbearable. Suddenly, one of our flashlights went out. Then another. We were left in almost complete darkness, except for mine. And that's when we saw them. Figures step out of the shadows, children. Their faces pale, their clothes burned and torn. Their eyes were black hollows, but tears streamed down their cheeks. They didn't walk. They drifted closer. We tried to run, but the basement doors slammed shut. We were trapped. The whispers turned into screams, deafening, surrounding us, filling our heads until it felt like they would burst. I dropped my flashlight, and in the flicker before it hit the ground, I saw a girl standing inches from me. Her skin was cracked, her hair singed, and in the faint glow, she smiled. And then she spoke. "You're staying with us." I don't remember how we got out. I just remember running, stumbling through the halls, the sound of those screams chasing us. Somehow, we burst through the front doors and didn't stop until we were back on the street, gasping for air. When we looked back, school was silent again, empty. No lights, no screams, nothing. But here's the thing, the next day, when we told people what happened, no one believed us. They said it was just our imagination, that old buildings can make weird sounds. Yet when I checked my phone that night, I found something that made my blood run cold. A photo. One I didn't remember taking. It showed the classroom with the chalkboard, and standing behind us, clear as day, were 3 burned children, smiling at the camera. And that's why I'll never go back to that school again. Some places don't want to be remembered. Some places don't let you leave that. So, if you ever find yourself near that old school at the edge of town, don't be curious. Don't listen to the laughter. Don't follow the whispers. Because if you do, you might not make it out.